Hey everyone, welcome back to phase 2 or questions 2 with Jason. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Zuber. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So I love that first interview. It was so clean, crisp. You really are the number one investor. You and Jen have this partnership. You're going bigger, you're going to other markets. So I wanted to steal 15 minutes of your time selfishly for me.
Sure. Okay.
So one of the things that I am still struggling with, and I think we've had this conversation kind of casually, but now it's going to be recorded so I can look back on it, is I feel I, I don't I just feel like I don't have big goals, right?
hmm
You're striving, you're doing bigger things, and I don't know what it is. Some part of me thinks, hey, you just got comfortable. Maybe comfort's okay. Part of me thinks, hey, I'm conservative and I see a big collapse coming, so I'm comfortable sitting on cash and waiting because I was there last time and I saw people get hurt. And really, I have no interest in out of state, right? We both know that California is getting ever more interesting to be an investor, right? With
Yeah,
Gavin
putting it
Newsom,
lightly.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
the
Yeah.
like. So I guess what I want to do is turn it over to you so you could ask me hard questions because I think you're doing amazing things and I feel stuck, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know where this is going to go, but we'll see.
Sure. So one of the things that stuck out to me in this opening sequence is you said that, you're feeling comfortable, or I don't know if I'm feeling comfortable and I don't know if that's okay.
Mhm.
That's one of the things I think that's a big difference between how I view like my goals and where I'm going with my business and things like that is I've just learned that when I'm in my comfort zone, it's not a good place for me because I'm not
Mm.
happy there. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like I'm progressing. And there's a lot of things that go into that. For me, I feel like I really got a late start in this business because I spent so much time kind of in corporate America, kind of figuring out what it is that I wanted to do. So like I've always kind of had this chip on my shoulder when it comes to like you got a late start, you have to keep your foot on the gas, you have to do that. So I think there's that fire there that's kind of fueling this thing. When you say you're in your comfort zone, what do you mean? What do you mean you're in your comfort zone? What does that mean to
Yeah.
you?
So I guess my goal the whole time was I want to replace our W-2 incomes. I want to be able to do what I want when I want with whom I want, right? That's the classic definition. So
Mm-hmm.
without getting exact, let's just say my monthly expenditures is 10 grand and I
Okay.
conservatively take in 20 grand a month. So
Sure.
we have no crazy wants and desires. We have we save money every month and we live comfortably. We've been doing it for almost 2.5 years, right? So it's not like, hey, I think I'm, cash flow positive. I have
Yeah.
30 months in a larger savings account to prove it. And there's some comfort in that because that was
Sure.
always the
Yeah.
goal, right? Replace the
Yeah.
W2, replace the W2, replace the W2. Now, I look at guys like you that I know and respect and others, and maybe it's just the whole, everybody, like you said on the previous interview, social media shows the highlight reels.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't feel like I have highlight reels.
The comparison game in our business, man, it's a real thing. And I think all of us fall into that trap, right? Because I see people that start at the same exact time as me and they're doing 10 times as much. And they throw all these crazy numbers out there and that number of units and number of money that they're making. And it's like, why am I not doing that? Right. And so,
Yeah.
even when I still fall into that trap, I realize like, listen, you just got to run your own race. This is you versus you. It's not you versus anybody else. I think for me, I have a goal of just trying to see like what really drives me, Zuber, is I just want to see like what I'm capable of doing when I'm operating at my full potential. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And I know that I'm just not even close to what my full potential is, right? And so it's constantly I just get a high off raising the bar. I get a high off of doing new things where it's like I don't know what I'm doing with this motel, frankly. You know what I mean? If you ask me what we were going to do with it when we put it in an escrow, I would just be honest with you and tell you I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But I've always just felt like, you know what, after taking meetings with everybody that I would consider is at my level or higher, I've never walked away from any of those things feeling like this person has something that I don't have, right? And so if this person can do it, then I know that I'm capable of doing it, right? And it's just these kind of incremental increases. I just get kind of a charge out of just let's raise the bar a little bit higher and see what's next. And can you push yourself over here? Can you do what's necessary to do this deal? You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
all of the things and the moving pieces and that type of stuff. for me, it's just it's something that pushes my buttons. And so I'm very, very in tune with that part of me and what motivates me. Beyond just the financial freedom, because I think everybody wants that. That's a goal for me too, right? I just want to be able to make a decision without it having to be in a time or place because of money, right? And so what else motivates you? What else are you trying to do besides that?
Yeah. So it's never going to be about, once I got to whatever the number is, I don't have that burning desire to double or triple it. It's just not
Okay.
there.
Okay.
It's just not.
Okay.
I grew up with nothing. To have what I have now is beyond my wildest expectations. I never thought I would have the things I have today. I have my dream car that I saw at 18, never thinking I would have it.
Yeah.
Right. So money's not it. I don't have that. I mean, and it's really weird. I mean, again, right. Kind of talking to a buddy who's also my shrink here. Money was always my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, every year, I was a sales guy. Every year it was money.
Sure.
And
we're numbers people. Yeah. We look and when you come up in sales, yeah, that's how it is, man.
I don't have that burning desire to add another $5,000 of cash flow.
Here's one of the biggest things that changed my life. And I don't know how actively you're doing this or not, right? But my life like fundamentally changed when I got around people that forced me to think bigger and outside of the box, and that also held me accountable to doing those things. And I'm constantly looking for those relationships. I'm constantly trying to be in rooms or in groups or in masterminds or with different people that, I'm no longer, the guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I actively seek that out, man. And it just opens your mind and to like just different possibilities. And for me, honestly, like the money's nice, but it's not about the money for me. Like, I honestly don't give a shit about like material things and like those type of things, right? Like there's certain things that you like. And I have always felt mentally that it's easier to make money than it is to save your way to success. I think financially, like you have to have the good fundamentals there to like make sure that you're being financially responsible. But, I've always thought like, why can't you do both, right? Like if I want to have a business that's thriving and then also travel with my wife and also do all these things, like why can't I do that? Like, let's put ourselves in a position and let me get around people that can do that. So I've try to like design my life and then reverse engineer all the steps that are there. And so I think for me, just being around big thinkers and people that motivate me and inspire me, like even with our relationship, dude, like I remember I didn't know who you were. And I remember your first YouTube videos were just on your couch, dude, and you had just retired, right? And you had said like, oh, I have like 200 something units or something close to that. And I was like, I need to seek this guy out, dude. Like, and I think I just like cold messaged you on somewhere and I was just like, hey, like, can I talk to you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just what I do all the time. You know what I mean? And I'm constantly doing that stuff. And just the same way that, we talk, like a lot of the stuff that you've done, like I've learned and it's inspired me. And so I'm constantly putting myself around people like that.
That's a huge action item for me, is to put myself in rooms with other people. And to your point, reach out too cold. I mean, you just never know. I think I've taken that down. So that's definitely something I need to do better at. I need to proactively seek that.
Yeah.
So have you joined, I don't know, the industry calls them masterminds.
Masterminds. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you joined those, or you're more the informal, let's just reach out and have dinner or whatnot?
It's a very polarizing topic, right, in our business, because it's a lot of gurus out there and a lot of people that are spouting off all these different things, right? And so for me, I think I was always hesitant to do that stuff because
me too.
I was just able to teach myself at the beginning, frankly, you know what I mean? And it was because I didn't have any money when I was starting and I couldn't afford to pay for something, right? And so for me, I had to be self-taught because I didn't have any other option. And I've always thought like, well, shoot, if I can do this just by like listening to podcasts and watching YouTube, then anybody can do it. Like all of this information is like readily available. Totally. And to a certain extent, like with like just learning the business, that's like one kind of offshoot of these masterminds, right? Like you're going to go and I'm going to show you how to do X, Y, and Z, right? And the ones where I think you're paying for access and you understand you're getting paid for access. And a lot of times you're paying for the people that aren't in the room, frankly, you know what I mean? And that was something that I heard recently that clicked with me. It's like, being around high performing people has such an impact. I'd be willing to pay to just get in a room with everybody that is like-minded, that thinks like me, to just cut to the chase. And if I can just take one thing from this, whatever the fee is to get into the room, it pays for itself. And then it's just, compounding returns after that. So I've done that on a small scale, no big, like, 30, 40, 50, 100 grand things. You know what I mean? I've done it, for like, let's say sub 10K or sub 5K. And it's all worked. Like, I've come out of man, it's all the things. It's the people that you meet in these buildings, the synergy that are in these meetings, the synergy that you get. And then how do we take that and go into the real world and do something that, that we both think is cool. And so I'm slowly kind of getting there, but I'm very skeptical about certain things, right? So I want to make sure you have to vet it. Yeah, right. And so, that's why I haven't been like as quick as some other people maybe that we know that just jump right in and write a big check and just go.
I think when you talk about the polarizing topic, to use your word, there's more generic downside than upside, but when you find the upside, it's truly legendary, right? It's
it is,
really
man. It is. Yeah.
Here's a question.
But let me just piggyback off what we said, and I'll put a bow on it. Like, I spent 5 years organically masterminding with people without ever paying $1 for any, you know what I'm saying? So that was the foundation for, whatever the next thing is, right? And I think most people do not do that, and they don't figure out, like, how do I go seek somebody out and give without any strings attached. And that's what I've always been good at, man. It's just like, here, dude, like, here, this is what I do. I've had people come sit down with me and here's my entire business.
Yep.
Feel free to just take whatever you want, leave whatever you want. If you want to do it, great. If not, then don't. You know what I mean? And it's just been proven over and over and over and over and over again to me that comes back full circle, guaranteed. You know what I mean? It always does, man. And people still have a hard time doing that, and I just never did.
Yeah, me neither. I guess the other question I want to ask you as a mentor of mine is, think back 5 or 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. I really do believe you're kind of the culmination of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
That's 100% true. Yes.
So tell me, of the 5 people you were with 6 years ago, how many of them are still the same 5? And Jen doesn't count.
As far as the amount of time that I'm spending, it's not, and it's they're not the same. The 5, it's been completely, everybody's been replaced is not the right word, but they're just roles have changed, right? And it's a touchy subject for me. It's not a touchy subject, but it's a subject where, like, the people that were the 5 people there, they were my best friends that I grew up with. You know what I mean? And it's guys that I still, like, I love them to death, and they're still my best friends. And, like, on a personal level, like, we can not talk for 6 months, get together, and it's like everything comes rushing back in, like it's like that, right? But then I just realized, like, we were just doing the same things from when we were young, and it was bad, like, some of it just bad habits, you know what I mean? Like, just going out and hanging out and, like, just dumb stuff, dude. And it was just like, why are we doing it? Like, why? You know what I mean? And I made a conscious decision to seek out people that were doing what I wanted to do, and I just spent more time with those people. And you said it, though, you are the average of the 5 people, and it's just been proven over and over and over. And as my peer group has even leveled up, and some of the people that I've kind of met initially that I've, for passed by or kind of maybe just gone a little bit further, I've constantly upgraded my peer group, and I'm still in contact with everybody, and I still try to provide value for everybody, but it's a constant process of, how do we level up? How do we, keep getting around people that are doing the things that we, that I want to do. And, it's changed dramatically since, from 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's something that I need to, again, if I'm going to take this challenge on, both with the thinking bigger and all of that, I've probably gotten a little comfortable with, my 5, right? I think my 5 are probably, with maybe one exception, the same 5 that I had when I retired. And I don't, it's, I guess it's okay, but it's not growth.
It isn't, man. And the growth is very important for me. Like, progress, for whatever reason, is very important to me. Like, I want to feel like we're making forward progress, right? And it's not just always just a straight line. You know what I mean? It is never a straight line like that. But, like, I just want to feel like, okay, we're moving forward. We're doing something new. That, to me, makes me feel like everything is working the way that it's supposed to be working. And so I think, like, just to kind of recap what we talked about, it's like learning for me, when I feel like I'm getting comfortable and I'm in my comfort zone, I immediately lean into that and I try to raise the bar a little bit higher. It's knowing that I have a big goal and I get excited about accomplishing and progressing, and then being around people that inspire me and then hold me accountable to those goals. And those three things have changed my life.
Well, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to listen to that phrase. I may make that my ringtone. If I don't know,
There you go.
I don't know how to do
That's
that,
it.
but I'm going to find somebody that tells me how to do that. Jason,
Yeah.
man, thank you very much for your time. You have a wonderful day and a great weekend.
Appreciate it, Zuber. You too.
Thanks, buddy.